Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a truly fascinating anatomical journey. We're going to follow the exact path our food takes the very second it enters our bodies. We're talking about the raw mechanics of how we break things down, physical digestion.
So think about this for a second. What actually happens before chemicals can break down our food? It's something we rarely pause to consider when we're biting into our favorite meal, but it's absolutely crucial. Before those microscopic enzymes in our bodies can even lay a finger on a bite of food, a whole series of intense mechanical steps has to happen. Literally, if these steps didn't occur, our digestive systems would be completely overwhelmed. No way around it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to cover what physical digestion actually is, then we'll meet your teeth, take a look inside a human tooth, check out the stomach's incredible churning power, and finally, look at bile, the ultimate fat emulsifier.
Section 1. What is physical digestion? Let's break it down.
At its core, physical digestion is just the breakdown of food into smaller pieces. And here is the key takeaway. There are zero chemical changes happening to the food molecules at this stage. None. A lipid stays a lipid, a carbohydrate stays a carbohydrate. We are talking strictly about mechanical destruction here. To put it into perspective, think about trying to cool down a warm drink. Are you going to use one giant block of ice or crushed ice? The crushed ice cools things down way faster, right? Because significantly more of its surface is actually touching the liquid. Well, that is exactly what physical digestion does. It exists for one reason, to maximize surface area. By smashing one huge chunk of food into thousands of tiny crumbs, you're giving your chemical enzymes so much more room to grab onto and do their work later. It's brilliant.
Section 2. Meet your teeth, your built-in mastication tools. So, we actually have 4 main types of teeth, and they are perfectly engineered for mechanical destruction. Fun fact, the human jaw can generate up to 200 pounds of force. Pretty wild, right? Up front, you've got your sharp incisors, built like chisels for cutting. Right next to them are the canines, those pointed ones designed to pierce and tear. Move a bit further back, and you hit the premolars. With their 2 cusps, they kick off the crushing process. And finally, way in the back, are your massive molars. They handle all the heavy-duty grinding, turning whatever you just ate into a soft, swallowable ball, or bolus.
Section 3. Inside a human tooth.
Now, what's really interesting here is how a single tooth is actually structured. You have 2 main exterior regions. First is the crown, which is the exposed part sitting right up there above the gum line. And then you have the root. This part is completely hidden below the gums, firmly gripping the bony socket in your jaw. It's honestly just like a tree root, anchoring the tooth so it stays highly secure against those massive chewing forces we just talked about.
Let's peel back the layers step by step. Starting on the outside, the crown is wrapped in enamel. This is an incredibly hard, wear-resistant armor. Down in the root, a gripping layer called cement takes over to anchor it to the jaw. Moving just beneath that outer armor, we hit the dentine. It's a slightly softer layer, but it provides absolutely crucial structural support. Finally, deep at the core is the pulp cavity. This is the living center of the whole operation. It's packed with blood vessels delivering nutrients and nerves that act like little sensors, telling your brain exactly how much force to use when you bite down.
Section 4. The stomach's churning power. It's a common misconception that the stomach is just some static storage bag. It's absolutely not. It is a highly dynamic muscular machine. Its thick muscular layers alternately contract and relax, vigorously churning and squeezing the food. It's basically a biological blender. It mixes your food with gastric juices and just physically smashes it all down into a liquid.
And this brilliantly illustrates our main theme for today. The ultimate goal is maximizing surface area. Just like the teeth in your mouth, the violent churning of the stomach exposes as much of the food as structurally possible. Why? So those chemical enzymes can swoop in later and digest it with maximum efficiency.
Section 5. Bile, the ultimate fat emulsifier.
To really grasp how bile works, let's map out its journey. This green, kind of watery fluid is actively produced right in your liver. From there, it travels down a duct and gets temporarily stored in the gallbladder. Then the magic happens. When you eat a really fatty meal, that bile is released directly into the duodenum, which is the very first part of your small intestine.
But what does this green fluid actually do down there? Well, it performs emulsification. That's a fancy word for breaking large lipid particles into small droplets with a huge surface area. Think about dropping dish soap into a super greasy frying pan. The soap instantly shatters that massive oil slick into thousands of tiny, scattered droplets, right? That is exactly what bile salts do to fats inside your body. It physically pulls the fats apart, totally setting the stage for a specific digestive enzyme called lipase to easily break them down chemically later on.
So, let's review our physical digestion toolkit. We've explored 3 incredible, distinct mechanisms today. Your teeth, using their unique shapes for targeted chewing and grinding. Your stomach muscles, using their powerful layers for aggressive churning and squeezing. And bile salts, sweeping into the duodenum to emulsify lipids. What's so wild here is how all 3 of these entirely different biological actions share the exact same objective.
And that objective is remarkably simple. 100% of physical digestion's purpose is just preparing food for chemical enzymes. They are the setup crew. Every single slice from an incisor, every muscular squeeze of the stomach wall, and every drop of bile has one job: increasing surface area. Without this flawless physical prep work, our enzymes simply wouldn't be able to keep us alive. It's all connected.
Your food is now completely crushed, churned, and emulsified by your body's incredible physical anatomy. The surface area is fully maximized, and the stage is perfectly primed for enzymes to take over the show. The mechanical work is done. So here is the big question. Are you ready to explore the chemical phase next? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and as always, stay curious.